All right, fam, welcome back. I'm your favorite life and relationship strategist, MarshaunO, and we talking about your inner critic today. That voice, that stubborn voice that you keep hearing in your head when things get silent. It's always talking about the negative things. It hardly ever tells you anything positive. When you're thinking about going to talk to your spouse to have that tough conversation, that inner voice is saying no, or what if they don't accept what you're saying? What if he or she makes fun of you? What if they don't understand you? What if you guys get into an argument? What if it keeps telling you what if statements like that? And so it is getting you to get over what your inner critic is actually saying to you on a consistent basis. And the reason why you want to do that is because your inner critic usually is telling you lies. Like, it's usually telling you lies because it is all about the fear factor. It's all about the what if I do this and it doesn't go this way? What if I do this and we break up? What if I do this and they say yeah to an open relationship? What if I do this and they're like, oh, well, and you're stuck, right? So it's just a lot of things that are going on in your head, and it's that inner voice that you hear when you get silent, when you actually give yourself a chance to hear what your thoughts are. It's that negative record that's playing all the time, that you're not good enough, you're not deserving of whatever, you're not worthy to be in a relationship, you're not worthy to go and ask for that raise, you're not worthy for that type of vehicle, you're not worthy to be hanging around these type of people. They are above you, you are beneath people. It's just telling you all of this negative stuff, and we have to stop buying into the negative inner critic. And there are several ways to actually do that. And so I want to come here and mention 5 ways to get rid of that inner critic, that negative Nancy, that voice that keeps letting the fear keep you stuck. So the very first thing really is that recognizing that this voice is keeping you stuck. It is not moving you forward. It is not making you go and reach that next goal. It is not giving you the power to go and speak to your spouse about that very, very, very sensitive conversation. It is keeping your ego fed, keeping you in your pride. So whenever you feel that, you know what, it's time for me to go say, I'm sorry, your inner negative voices. Why should I be the one to go say sorry? He always does. She always does. That is your negative inner critic. So you really have to recognize that that is what it is. That is your negative inner critic that is keeping you stuck. It's not letting the relationship move forward. It's not letting you move forward towards your goals. It's not letting you move forward to saying, you know what? I did that. I messed that up. It's like, yeah, of course you should have of course you should have cussed that person out. Of course you should have cussed out your spouse. Of course you should have cussed out your boss. Of course you should have cussed out your friends. They don't mean you no good. Everybody always runs over you. That's your negative inner critic keeping you stuck. So recognize that that's that voice that's keeping you stuck right where you are, not propelling yourself forward. The next thing that you need to do is literally, once you realize or recognize that that is your negative inner critic, you need to stop listening to it immediately. Because the sooner that you recognize that it's a negative inner critic that's keeping you stuck and holding you back and making you feel like you are right and keeping you in that state of your ego or your pride, as soon as you recognize it, that's when you need to stop listening to it immediately, because it's not going to do anything good for your life, especially nothing good for your relationship. It's going to keep you stuck. So stop listening to it immediately. The next thing is, anytime you hear these negative statements, change them into a positive statement. So instead of, I always apologize, my partner needs to come and apologize to me for once in a while, and then you're letting the silence and the distance get a hold of you too. So you know what? If I apologize, It's actually going to get us speaking again. I'm going to understand where he came from. He's going to understand where I came from. We will both be able to apologize to one another, because we'll understand that we don't need to take it personally. It was a misunderstanding, more than likely, because that's what arguments usually come from, is a misunderstanding. But you'll both be able to hear what one another was going through in that moment, why you reacted that way in that moment, why he or she reacted that way towards you in that moment. But you literally have to change the statements, change your thought process on why you should go and speak up, why you should continue to have that tough conversation, why you should ask for the raise, why you should, move toward your goal. Stop listening to it. Recognize it, stop listening to it, and then change the negative thoughts to positive thoughts within your head. Number 4, literally, is to start taking action, so you can tell and show this negative inner critic that that they are a liar, that it is a liar. Because literally, action is the only way, the only thing that you can do in order to show your inner critic that it is a liar, that it is just being negative. It's being your negative Nancy. It's keeping you stuck. Taking action in the form of going to have the conversation is literally swallowing your pride, swallowing that fear, and walking over to your partner and say, hey, babe, can we actually have a conversation about what just happened? I'm telling you, personally, personal story, I had to take my own advice. You guys know I talk about this all the time, that when I come here and talk to you guys, I'm talking to myself, not every single time, but a lot of times. In this particular one, I had to talk to myself about it and actually do it with my husband. So I'm like, you know what? I could stay stuck here. And then I was just like, you know what? This is not healthy. This is not going to help either one of us. And I'm doing better. I'm being a better person on purpose. And so I just had to let my ego go, let my pride go. And literally that statement that I just said, hey babe, can we talk about what just happened? That's what I said to my husband not even a week ago. Because I recognize that when something is happening in that moment, address it right there. Address it right there. Don't let it take hold and take root within you. And personally within me, I didn't want it to take hold or root within me. And then I have all of these negative statements in my head. And why this, and what if that, and how come he? So instead of doing that, I immediately got up off of my soapbox, got up off the couch, and just walked over to him. It was so brief. The conversation was so brief. However, there was no silence after that. There was no distance after that. And because I took action, that negative inner voice didn't take hold of me and didn't make my husband into the enemy, because we're both in this together. Anytime that you're in having a relationship issue, you have to realize that it is you and your partner against the problem, and not you and your partner against each other. It's you and your partner, you and your spouse against the problem. So, like, I know that most of you've heard that saying, it's you and me against the world. Yeah, it's you and me against the problem. It's not you and me against each other because of the problem. So just keep that in mind. And then step number 5 literally is to repeat steps 1 through 4 as often as you need to. This is a practice that you have to put into place in order for your relationship to continue to move as smoothly as possible. And this is relationships all around, specifically in your love life, your romantic life. But this could be with your siblings, could be with your coworkers, could be with your boss, could be with your parents, could be with just people passing you on the street, associates, etc. Any type of relationship that you have, you're going to you're going to have to find a way to defeat your inner critic. That is all I have for you guys. I definitely want to know, how often does your inner critic take over and keep you stuck? I definitely want to know down in the comment section below. Let me guys, let me know, you guys. I definitely want to hear what you have to say, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. 2 finger salute.